Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the DaveCast. Your host with the most, Dave. I'm wrecked. Sometimes I think it sounds so fucking dumb and cheesy, but it's whatever, right? It's me being me. If you don't like it, then fuck off. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to start off the podcast today talking about our dogs, fostering, some of my experiences growing up with a lot of dogs and animals and stuff. But first, I'm going to show you guys a video. For those of you guys that are audio only, I'll walk you through the videos. But I'm going to put the video up here on the video on the video recording. Jesus, man. But it's something I caught just a few minutes ago, and we've had an issue with our cat food disappearing. Right? Like, I fill up the cat bowls, and for those of you that are about to watch, you're going to see that I had this, and I've talked about it before, the cat wall in the corner of our house. It's like 3 tiers in the corner, and then a bunch of little steps off to the side, and then some go down the one side so the cats can get up multiple directions and stuff. And they can hang out up there if any of the dogs are bugging them, or if a foster dog is all up in their business. You know, we get some foster dogs. They're a little weird with the cats at first, and we got 5 of them, so... Here's the video, and this is where our cat food... I knew it was already disappearing, the cat food, and I knew why. So I did something to fix it. So those of you guys that can see this video, I know it probably looks small to you guys. But hold on one second, I gotta pull this up here. I'm not good with this. I came out of the gaming room here. And I'll pause it for a second. I came out of my podcast studio. I actually seen her doing this a minute ago, and I yelled at her, and she jumped down. But I knew as soon as I closed the door to the podcast studio, she was going to go do it again. She loves to fucking eat that much. Well, the video is kind of crappy, but you can see here, it looks cluttered as fuck, okay? Let me walk you through this. This is our there's a huge room in our house that we don't really have we don't really use it for anything, you know. It's just usually kind of empty, but we currently have the treadmills in there, which Robin uses every once in a while. I need to use it more. I'm getting fat. But there's this big kennel. It's an outdoor kennel in the house. There's that much space in there, and that's where we're keeping Malone. And for the first few weeks, with all the tubes hanging out of him and stuff, he had to pretty much stay penned up so he didn't get worked up or chase around the other dogs or the cats and stuff. So we kept him in that pen. He's rarely in there anymore. He pretty much just sleeps in there now. He's a sweetheart. He lays on the floor, lays up on the couch with us, and he's a sweetie. We don't have to lock him up too often. Anyway, looking at the video, you guys can see the cat wall in the corner. Pretty sweet, right? Like all the different pillars, the cat, and there's fatness Everdeens at the top right now eating. And she is standing on a big blue tote that we use as a litter box. There's a hole cut in it. The cats can get in, the dogs can't. And there's a litter box inside of it because the fucking dogs like to eat cat shit. And we've been having an issue with that lately too. River right here. You can see her right in the middle, her little white face on the video. I'm going to continue playing it here for you guys. And there, she saw me open the door. And then I acted like I hide away a little bit here. There she climbs up on this first pillar, okay? So where her back legs are now, I used to have a cat food bowl drilled it's drilled into the wood so the cats couldn't knock it down. When they get hungry, they knock them fucking things off, right? And she would jump up there and eat cat food all the time. So I had to move it up to this, if you guys can see my mouse here, this second pillar here, right? I had to move it up to that one. And look at her go. She's climbing up there to go after this food. And then she almost falls. I can't help but laugh. I am laughing right now. Her little legs were she's hanging there for a second. And then she's trying to get it. But I think she heard me.
What are you doing?
Then I yell at her.
What are you doing?
Anyway. That's the video, you guys. But she's hungry all the time. That's all she ever does is eat. And I was joking with Robin about if she wasn't so fucking cute, I would kick her ass sometimes. Not that I was abuse a dog. Never abuse an animal. But I would punish her in non-abusing ways. I would never withhold food or water. Never do that to a dog. Ever. So I want to get into leaving your dogs outside. I'm seeing all these posts on Facebook about leaving your dogs outside, cats outside, any animals outside right now, and you're like an animal abuser and stuff. So growing up, I understand if you leave your dogs outside and they're not in a garage, they're not in like a building of some kind, just chained up outside. That's terrible. It's bad. It's been so cold here. It's been cold all over the country. Don't get me started on all that shit that's going on with southern states getting snow and they're freaking out. I'm gonna go into that in a little bit too. But we grew up, man. Like, it makes me feel like, were we bad people growing up? We did not lock our dogs. Our dogs were locked up all the time, actually. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, growing up, we had at any time 6, 8, 10, even a dozen coon dogs, I think, at a time sometimes. 6 to 8 probably at the most of the time. These were not house dogs. We didn't keep 8 fucking coon hounds in our house. They're gross, and no way, man. No way you would ever keep those in our house. So my dad out back had there were cages that there was cages that were wrapped all the way around the old shed that we had. And initially, when I was a kid, they had barrels. My dad put barrels on the end, and they would go into the shed. So they were we would call it like an indoor-outdoor run. So the dogs outside, it probably wouldn't be an indoor run if all they have is a barrel, but so the dogs are out, they can be outside, run around, and then they have a barrel that they can get in that is attached to this shed, which keeps them out of the elements. The shed is not heated, by the way, so it is what it is, man. But I remember my dad would cut, it wouldn't be like a hole in the barrel, but it would be like this notch, so he could push. They're plastic barrels, not metal barrels. Fuck, metal barrels, that would be animal abuse. Like, you wouldn't want to put a dog in a metal barrel. There are these plastic barrels that he got from Doug, his buddy Doug from the cheese factory. Anyway, he cut like a 3-sided slot, and you could push the plastic down because it bends. And I remember that he would stuff straw, like tons of straw in there. So the dogs had straw to lay in. And I know he would use that hole sometimes too. He fed them dog food sometimes, but other times he owned a meat locker. He would bring home big barrels just full of scraps, like fat and just chunks of meat that they didn't use. And now that I think about that, dude, that is way better than dog food, right? Like, they're getting actual chunks of beef, pork, fat. Like, that's gotta be way better. There's probably so much shit in dog food, man. Like, if you buy the expensive stuff, it's probably good, right? You buy Blue Buffalo, Science Diet. We do Purina Pro Plan. It's like right in the middle of being expensive and being healthy. So it's like we kind of go in the middle. We buy a lot of dog food and cat food. Cat food, we buy Purina Blue Bag. I'm a Purina guy, I guess. I don't know. It's just what I went with. Out of all the brands, instead of, I spend like $25 a bag for dog food, $25 a bag for cat food. Or I could go and spend a fucking $100 on some Blue Buffalo dog food, and I can't afford that. You know what I mean? So I don't think our dogs look overweight. People give a shit about Bailey, and I'm like, she's just a hound dog, and she's just thick. And then they don't get out as much in the wintertime to run around and burn off all that winter fat. They get a little chubby in the wintertime. Anyway, we feed our dogs twice a day, by the way. We don't keep their food dishes full of food. I know some people do, and if your dog can keep a respectable weight doing that, that's fine. If I dumped an entire bag of dog food out, River would probably eat herself to death. You know what I mean? Like, she is so hungry. You see her out there eating cat food. I caught her eating cat shit earlier today. What is up with cat shit, man? Like, it's like a delicacy to dogs. Me and Robin were joking the other day, we need to make like a cat shit flavored dog treat. Something. That's weird, right? Anyway. So our dogs, man, at times when we had like ridiculous snowstorms, and I can't remember, was it 97? Because I think that was the year it flooded because of all the snow here in Grand Forks. But in 97, I think we got tons of snow. And the outdoor kennels were all full of snow. Completely full. You couldn't see the dogs. I went out there and I was like, are the dogs dead? Like, what is going on? My dad's like, nope, they're in their barrels. And then he's like, when the storm stops and cools off a little bit, we went in and dug him out. But the dogs is laid in their barrels. My dad would feed them, and they would slowly dig their way out a little bit to pee and poop outside the barrel. Man, I don't know. Like, it almost sounds like we abuse these dogs, but it was just, they were outdoor dogs. A lot of people have outdoor dogs. I think, they have a nice barn they can go in, a shed, a heated shop, a heated shed, things like that. If a dog can get out of the elements, even if it's not heated, like a garage or a shed, and they have something warm to lay on and not just the cold ground, they'll do pretty good. Dogs they're wolves, man. They were one-time wolves, and they're meant to be outside. They live, coyotes, wolves, all that shit. They live through the wintertime. It's rough on them. Not easy. Makes them tougher. Natural selection, right? The ones that can survive get to breed, and they make fucking stronger, tougher animals. Our dogs are kind of little pussies because we leave them inside. But our dogs here, we don't leave them outside ever. They go outside to go to the bathroom on warmer days, run around the yard and stuff. Currently have Malone. The sad part is Bailey and River go outside without a leash, and they don't go far. They run over to the neighbor's yard and back sometimes. They stay off the highway. But with Malone, man, they got like thousands of dollars invested in this dog already, and you got to put him on a leash. Don't trust that he would stick around. He was a stray. He was a runaway, man. He's probably going to fucking dip. He's like, even though he has it good, at least, or he'll go adventure, or he'll go on the road and get hit by a car, and then it's like, you feel terrible, right? One, the dog gets, dies because you're irresponsible. Two, all that money down the drain that they put into him to fix him and stuff, so. Got to go outside on a leash with him, which sucks in the wintertime because it's nice just to let the dogs out, and then they scratch. Bailey scratches. You get back in. I've been avoiding that yawn for so long. I felt it coming a long time ago, but I try to avoid it. So, growing up, the cats all lived in a shed. Dogs all lived in barrels in a shed, with outdoor runs or whatever. And we never had a dog freeze to death, man. Some of the older dogs, they would pass away in the wintertime. They didn't, if they would, the winter was too hard on them. They couldn't make it, but you know what I mean? If we had a better barn, a better shop, a better shed to keep them in. My dad's got it pretty nice now. He don't even have any dogs anymore. He's got chickens. But at one point, my dad actually put down concrete on the outside of the runs to make it easier to clean up the shit and stuff. Because that shit used to be, it would all freeze in there over the wintertime. And I remember in the summer, we'd have a wheelbarrow. My dad would be in there with a clothespin on his nose. Like, people really do that. Throwing shit out into a wheelbarrow, and we'd wheel it down into the tall grass and just dump it. Fertilizer, right? Never use it as fertilizer, but it is what it is, man. But I do see a lot of people posting about it, and I think a lot of it has to do with they're not, they're outside, they're not sheltered, and they're chained up. That's not good, man. It's really bad. I've seen dogs sleep straight up in the snow before. Like, I've yelled for a dog, and his head will pop out of the snow, like the snow covered him up while he's sleeping. Some animals are tougher than others too. So, I just want to touch on that. Like, I feel like, were we animal abusers growing up with our coon dogs? I don't know. They lived a pretty good life, honestly. And what are you going to do? Keep them all in the house? We weren't rich. Didn't have a fancy garage or a big shop. Man, I would love, out here, I talk about this all the time, I'd love to have a big shop out here. A shop that I could have my own little, like, it'd be like a man cave. It'd be like this out there, right? I have my podcast studio set up in there, and like an upper part, like an office. You could have like a shop floor where I could work on cars, other stuff, things like that. A welder, I could weld up some shit. And then also, like, around the edges, I wanted to have like 3 or 4 outdoor dog runs. So the dogs can go outside, and there's a cage outside they go into, and then they come inside, and there's a cage inside. And to keep it heated, I don't know. You have some money to keep a decent shop like that heated, and I ain't got the money for the shop, the garage, or nothing. But those are just, gotta dream, man. You gotta have goals, and you gotta dream about stuff. It's okay. Will I ever have it? Maybe not. I can only hope, though. And if it does happen, yeah. Oh, Lord. But it's been cold, you guys. Really cold. Here's the thing, is we got lucky. The first half of this fucking winter has been like, man, that's pretty nice outside. I'm just wearing a sweater. Just out hoodie weather most of this shit. And then all of a sudden, bam, cold. We don't got shit for snow, though. I'm cool with that. We don't got... So the funny thing is like Texas. I'm in North Dakota. Texas, Oklahoma, a few of these other states that I'm seeing have more snow than we do right now. Love it. Love it. Eat it up. Texas, like the whole state of Texas is shutting down for snowstorm advisories or snowstorms, whatever. They can't fucking drive. They lose their minds. And I get it, man. I get it. Like they don't deal with that year round, like not year round, but over the whole winter season like we do. We know how to like, hey, when it snows and gets icy, slow the fuck down. You got a 4-wheel drive. Drive slow. Make sure your tires are good. How many people live in a place that don't ever get snow or ice, and they drive on pavement all the time? Their tires probably get pretty fucking bald. And they don't change them till like last minute. Whoa, wires are sticking out. I better get new tires. Well, up here, even at like 25, even if you have like a quarter of your tread left, it's like you're going to struggle in the wintertime. Like I've changed out some decent tires just to make sure I had some better ones on for the wintertime. And then you got people that have like a rear wheel drive car. And then a lot of trucks in the South, or I found this out years ago, but it's like I didn't know this until a certain point in my life. A lot of trucks down south don't have 4-wheel drive. It's like you have to special order 4-wheel drive if you buy a truck in Texas. I might be wrong. Not all places in Texas, but I know in California when I was down there visiting my sister, I was like, where are all the 4-wheel drive pickup trucks? And she's like, you don't really see any, I guess. Nobody really needs it. It's funny, So it's like you got to special order it. But up here, it's weird to have a truck that doesn't have 4-wheel drive. But then, like I was saying, you have all these rear-wheel drive vehicles too. I got my new Corvette, and I drive it all year round because it don't snow here. And then it snows there. And they take it out on the fucking freeway, and they're sideways, and they're looking the wrong way, and they're in the ditch. Or they rear-end a bunch of people who are stopped for traffic. My brother shared a video the other day, Richie, shout out Richie. It was like, I think it was in Dallas, Fort Worth, Dallas. The traffic is at a standstill. But there's cars still coming up from behind it, and they're not giving themselves enough time to brake. And this is like semi-trucks, pickup trucks, cars just slamming into each other one after another. And these fucking cars, there's a semi-truck that smashes through like 3 cars. And from what I read, 5 people died in this incident. Just smashes through all of them. Like this dude was still going like 60 miles an hour and didn't slow down. And I'm sure the traffic was already stopped because of the accidents. There was already a pileup, so it just gets worse. So it's an area of the highway where I suppose they don't think that they're like, hey, traffic's never slow this time of day or this morning, this evening. I usually cruise right through here, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I gotta slow down. Oh shit, there's ice and snow. I can't slow down. Oh shit, I just fucking plowed through a bunch of people. I'm not trying to make a joke about it. People died there, dude. That gave me anxiety watching it. Jesus, man. But so the thing is, I was trying to compare it to something like we don't get tornadoes very often here in North Dakota. And so is it the same thing? We get a tornado, it rips through it, it fucks shit up. So when they get snow, it's like different to them because they only get it once every so many years, right? Or once a year, maybe tops. Crazy. You see people around here that still don't even know what they're doing when it snows. You got basers that are stationed, that are from the South. They've never seen snow before, and they move up here with their fucking Camaro. Think they can go fly down Highway 2 to get to town when it's snowy and icy. Boom, in the ditch, you know what I mean? I've seen 30, 40 cars in an 8-mile stretch in the ditch before here in North Dakota. Minot and Grand Forks. Both bases are kind of the same. Bases are like 10 miles out of town. There's a stretch of road that, obviously leads to the base. I'm trying to not talk about politics today, you guys. I feel like I'm getting less listens, and my brother kind of pointed it out to me that it's politics. People don't want to hear about it, and it's weird to me because we're surrounded by it. But the thing is, when I wasn't listening, or I wasn't woke up to the politics of what's going on in our country, I didn't care, I didn't hear it, and then when people talked about it, I didn't want to listen to it. So I get it. So I'm going to try to not talk about politics as much. Maybe I'll do that fucking 3-minute segment thing I used to do. But I feel like I don't know. I'm glad I am woke to it now. I don't know if people feel like there's just nothing you can do, Dave. I can sit here and cry about the way our government's ran, but it's never going to change. But maybe it will. Maybe that 80% that just chills and does nothing in the middle, you know what I mean? Not that you do nothing, they go to work, you know, they just want to live a normal fucking life. Maybe if those people actually paid attention a little bit, you don't got to dive balls deep into it. Just pay attention a little bit, and realize like, oh shit, I live in one of those democratic cities that's fucking falling apart. Why do I keep voting for a fucking Democrat then? Or why do you keep voting for this same Democrat? There's probably Democrats out there that are willing to, that are moving up, you know what I mean? That want to replace these other Democrats that are like, I'm better than this fucking old crusty Democrat. You know, it ain't about replacing them with a Republican. You can replace them with a better Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard was a better Democrat. I think Bernie Sanders is a better Democrat. You guys know that from this podcast. Enough with the politics. Trump didn't get impeached. 2/3 vote from the Senate to impeach him. That would mean a lot of Republicans would have had to turn their back on him. A few did, but not enough to impeach him. And I knew that was going to happen the whole time. Did they waste a bunch of money with this? I don't know. People are saying there was like $33 million process. That money would be nice to go to some of the citizens right now, small businesses, stuff like that. That's it. That's all I'm doing for politics, you guys. That's it. I did an MMA podcast earlier. I don't think I'm going to post it. I sound like an idiot. I just can't. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't. Maybe I just need to post it and keep doing them. Or just not post this one, but keep doing them until I get better at it. I used to be so much better. I used to prepare. For those of you guys that don't know, like the Batman shit that I do, no notes. No cuts, no nothing. I just hit record, and I plan on doing maybe 5-6 minutes of Batman talking about some bullshit. And in my Batman voice or whatever. So if you guys take those videos serious, there's something wrong with you. It's a total joke. The number 2 is so bad. But I'm going to keep doing them. I have fun doing them. And it helps me, like, with my, like, improv. Like, I'm seriously, you guys, just coming up with that shit off the top of my head. That's why it probably sounds dumb or weird. But, like, the thing is I'm doing a funny Batman impression of a stupid Batman. So it actually works out pretty well. Like, this Batman's not intelligent. He's not smart. He's just Batman, you know. I don't know. My throat hurts still from doing it earlier. That's why my voice is a little raspy, but what else is there to talk about, you guys? It's winter time. Stay warm. Make sure you're checking on your pets. Make sure you're checking on your neighbors. Shovel their snow for them. Be nice. Love each other, you guys. Seriously, like, everybody just needs to, like, come together and all be Americans and all understand that everybody's so different. It's so diverse, man. It's going to be hard to get along, honestly. But we just got to respect each other's freedoms, respect each other's opinions. Just be cool with everybody, man. If somebody's doing something and it's not hurting you, let her go, man. Let it go. So, all right, guys, that's the podcast. Less politics, I know. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Hit me up, davespodcast1@gmail.com. Dave's Podcast on Facebook, Dave Helmbrecht on Facebook, and Funny Welder on Instagram. I don't use Twitter anymore. I don't really give a shit, but I'm not streaming gaming anymore. You guys can find me on Xbox Average Dad. I changed it to AVGDAD. I just, sometimes I feel like I'm a less than average dad, honestly. Like, kids are older, they do their own thing. I didn't have custody of them. Their mothers pretty much raised them. Had them all the time, you know, every other weekend, on weekends, most weekends with Davey and Kelsey. Carter, I need to go see, but I'm not a deadbeat dad by any means. There's times I feel like it, man, and I can't let myself get myself down, and I can't use my struggles as an excuse to not be a father, but my kids are older, and they don't like hanging out with dad. I loved to hang out with my dad growing up. But when the weekend came around, man, it was like, peace, Dad. I'm going to go find some girls and some guys to hang out with and party it up. So, all right, you guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Later.